Obama last month announced its second Leaders for the Africa program, which brings together nearly 200 emerging civic leaders from 45 countries across the continent. Now, the gathering brings together participants and speakers from various sectors for plenary sessions, skills building workshops, leadership training, for example. So in these sessions, leaders grapple with ethical dilemmas and work on creative and values-driven approaches to problem solving. So some of those leaders who have displayed passion for this kind of work in their communities are Tumi Makobye. She is the founder of the Botswana Organisation for Sisters Empowering Junior Associates, and Sai Govender, who is driving the digital job creation stream at the Youth Employment Service here in South Africa. To you both, guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Great to have you here. They always say ladies first. We'll come to you, Sai. To me, this is fantastic. You know, I mean, you're doing phenomenal work in Botswana. Keeping young girls in school. Talk to us a bit about what you're doing through your organization, Buseja, to keep young girls in school.
Okay. In Botswana, 51 pregnancies and 1,000 women are teenage girls. So teenage pregnancy it's a nation challenge. So what I do, Buseja runs as a school club twice in a week. On Wednesday, I help them with tutoring, with math, with science, with Setswana and English, because those are the challenges that they're having. And then on Thursday, I do life skills and structured mentorship that I instill them self-esteem, worthy values that they can make informed decisions about their future.
That sounds fantastic. You know, I mean, obviously you must have identified that as a critical challenge in your communities in Botswana. So in addition to these life skills and the tutoring, I mean, what challenges is the girl child going through in Botswana that you felt, you know, it's quite critical to have, you know, this twice a week sessions, but you get to talk to them about everything, because life also comes into this. The communities that we live in, communities, challenges in our own communities. So talk to us a bit about the life skills aspect and, you know, how do they maneuver through all of that?
Okay, all right. I chose Gaborone West in Botswana, in Gaborone. That's the community that is known as, it's a hub of alcohol, and there's a lot of prostitution there. So it's not a community that it's easy for a girl child to live in. And the thing that I've realized about girls, and even we see in our society today, everyone has a need to be valued. They want to be valued. They need to be recognized. They want to be encouraged. That's the need that I saw in our girls' child, that they want somebody to see their worthy, somebody to see the need. And I thought I could be that person to bring that worthiness and the value in themselves.
Fantastic. Let's come to you, Simon. You're also doing phenomenal work. And I think in the age of, we're talking the fourth industrial revolution, so there you have a system in place through your organization that looks at dealing with the digitized space of youth unemployment, which is a critical challenge in South Africa. Talk to us a bit about what your organization is doing.
So as you said, I mean, youth unemployment is a major crisis that we're facing. So we have 6.2 million youth that are currently unemployed. And I mean, those figures are quite shocking. So we, as a Youth Employment Service, we are a non-profit, business-driven collaboration together with government and labor to create employment opportunities for unemployed youth. So my role in particular focuses on the placement of youth into the digital sector and making sure they have the appropriate skills to succeed thereafter.
Fantastic. I mean, how important is this? Because we're talking about digitization the world over, and young people obviously need to be on the bandwagon when we talk about that, because you know, in order for them to be able to compete in the future, they're going to have to be able to be equipped with the necessary skills. How are you doing that? Because I also understand this is supported by the presidency to create 1 million jobs for young people.
Yes, so I mean, as you said, digital upskilling is very important for youth to have the skills necessary to succeed. So we place a big emphasis on digital upskilling at our hub model. So we have a hub in Tembisa where youth come in for daily trainings. So they go through how to build a website, graphic design, coding, etc. that helps them to prepare for employment.
That's I think that's so critical at this stage. Let me come to you, Tumi. I mean, you know, many would ask, girls don't live by themselves. We live with Sai. The boy child is just as important as well, you know. Talk to us a bit about that, you know, in part of, you know, the tutoring that you have. I mean, where does it bring the boy child into this? Because obviously if we're going to have girl children who are going to stay in school, you know, the boy child, we live amongst boys. How do we maneuver that? How do you maneuver that in Botswana, for example?
Yeah, that's true. I've come to that question a lot, because for me, for starting this organization, it was based from where I grew up, because I grew up as a little girl who had the need to be valued, and my primary teacher instilled that in me, and I just wanted to pay it forward and notice another girl on the side who may be struggling with values or worthiness. And I believe also if we empower a girl child, we empower the nation, you know, like as women, as women, we have so much that we can offer to the world. And so I believe that by empowering these young girls, automatically I'm empowering the young men also. Indirectly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, through these creation of jobs, Sai, I mean, you know, talk to us a bit about how successful this has been thus far. Perhaps we could use the hub in Tembisa as a case study. Is there a lot of interest from young people? Do they understand the need for an understanding of the digitizing world in order for them to access opportunities, not just here in South Africa, but throughout the world?
Yes, definitely. I mean, and we see it by the attendance of these digital skills trainings. We have youth regularly participating to upskill themselves because they know it's so critical in today's world.
So, I mean, you're talking about coding, you're talking about, you know, all sorts of conversations that are already being had in South Africa at the moment. So how do you then ensure that once they have these kinds of skills, they're able to get better opportunities? I mean, these are things that are not yet being taught in the South African school curriculum, which many would argue is a challenge. So with this kind of training, how do they proceed to access some of these opportunities? Do you help with that?
Yes, so once, as we said, they've gone through the upskilling and have required the necessary skills, the next part is placement, which we facilitate. So we have a lot of companies seeking youth with specific digital skills, and then we are then able to match them with the appropriate role.
Fantastic. So, Tumi, how did it all come about? You know, the Obama Foundation, there you guys are, the second batch of bright African leaders who are doing phenomenal things in your communities. Talk to us a bit about that, you know, and what opportunity this creates for you as a young person in your country and being able to spread that across the continent. I mean, you're all coming together as Africans.
Yes, it was so amazing. Because this was my first time to come to this kind of leadership. So I just applied for it, using the community work that I'm doing in my country, and then I was chosen. And it was so amazing to see 45 countries coming together and to see Africa becoming this prosperous, inclusive Africa. And we were taught about ethical leadership, discipline to yourself, leadership to self, leadership to others. It was so life-changing and empowering. And it has opened a lot of doors for me.
Of course it can.
First of all, I'm here. You know, I'm an SABC. You know, and this is another door. And I believe that this foundation has opened this door for me that I can open for other leaders in Botswana, because I'm not the only one who's doing this amazing job. I know that others out there who are doing phenomenal job as me.
How do you think this could inspire other young women to take charge, not just for the girl child, but for young people in general, with the challenges that we're facing on the continent? You've just mentioned a few in your own country, but it's not unique to Botswana alone. It's a challenge that we also face in South Africa. So how do you hope to inspire young people to continue with this work? Because you know, it is the future of any nation to have its girl children, well, in fact, all young people.
All young people. What I can say is that know that you're not alone. You are not alone, that whatever work that you see, whatever need that you see in your community, you are not alone. There's somebody there making a difference as much as you do. That's what I've experienced also in this, 5-day conference, that I met so many people who are doing exactly what I'm doing in that respective countries. And I felt like I'm not alone. I'm not fighting this challenge alone. I have some other people doing the same as well.
We're really running out of time. I mean, how do you hope to inspire young people? You know, you could have done anything, but you decided to tackle one of the most grappling challenges in this country, that of youth unemployment. What are you hoping you'll achieve from all of this? Very quickly, sorry, we don't have enough time.
So for me, I think it's just empowering youth with a job, which helps them to realize their dreams, push forward and just, live their best life, which they all deserve. So more than anything, I just want to inspire them to push forward and achieve their dreams.
How awesome is this? Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and we wish you all the best. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, that was Tumi Makobye, she is the founder of the Botswana Organisation for Sisters Empowering Junior